What's up, everyone? My name is Mike, and this is TheBoredCyborg! Welcome back to yet another What's in the Bag, which is my version of the movie collection update, where I go over the Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS, video games, comic books, anything that I've picked up over the last couple weeks and show it off to you guys in video form, talk about why each piece is now in the collection, and how I feel about them. I'd love to know what you guys have picked up over the last couple weeks, so feel free to leave that down in the comment below, and we'll get a little discussion rolling. Jumping right in without wasting any time. I'm not even going to go in any sort of order this time around. I'm just going to pick from the way that I put the pile together. Let's do it. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I didn't own this on DVD or Blu-ray. How crazy is that? A video game inspired, influenced story movie by Edgar Wright, a director who I love. I greatly enjoy this movie. Granted, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I do want to give it another whirl, but I remember the fight sequences being super comic booky and video game-esque, and how once Scott Pilgrim beat one of them, they'd explode into a bunch of coins, which is super arcade-inspired and video game-inspired. I love it. The bit where it's like a dream sequence where the Zelda fairy theme is playing, you know. Yeah, that was terrible. But you get my drift. You guys know the little tune. Little touches like that just made me melt and fall in love with this movie. So that is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, based on a Canadian graphic novel, I believe, which I've yet to read, starring Michael Cera and a bunch of other people that are fantastic in this. Can't wait to rewatch this one. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Next up, I couldn't even believe this existed on DVD. You gotta give it up to Mill Creek. I've been going down sort of memory lane with a lot of the old Nickelodeon live-action shows I've grown up with, and the old game shows like Nick Arcade, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Are You Afraid of the Dark I've been rewatching. And I saw that Mill Creek put this out, and it was like $8 shipped. Came home with me, or ordered online and then was shipped to me. The Secret World of Alex Mack. This is from the mid-90s, my wheelhouse. I was 8 years old when this, or 6 or 7 when this came out. I remember this show, watching it when it was airing, watching it on reruns, and loving the special effects, the science fiction sort of themes of this show, and loving the main girl. I forgot her name. Let's see, Larissa Oleynik. Forgive me. And she was one of my earliest crushes that I could remember in movies or TV shows. And this is, I believe, all 4 seasons. Is that right? 78 episodes for $8. The entire Alex Mack series. Incredible. Didn't even know this existed, honestly. And then I saw that Shelby Woo, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, which is another show we used to gather around the TV for. It was like a whodunit show for kids where there were 3 suspects in the end and the audience had to guess in sort of an interactive way who the killer, who the suspect was. There wasn't much killing going on. It was more aimed towards young adults and kids. But Shelby Woo is another one I want to pick up. It's a little bit more expensive, but I do want to get it before it goes out of print because that's not going to be in print for long. Love this show. Can't wait to revisit it and just take that trip down memory lane like I have been doing with Are You Afraid of the Dark? That is The Secret World of Alex Mack. Do any of you guys remember this show? Any of my 90s kids out there remember this one? Such cool memories. Oh yeah. Next up, another DVD. Son of Kong. A film that I haven't seen in ages. I mean, since I was a kid. For some reason, I caught this when I was younger, before I even saw King Kong, when I got a little older into my teens. Don't remember much about this, but I do remember it dealing more with, it's the Son of Kong, right? So it's a smaller Kong creature that is sort of on display. It deals more with the human characters and their interactions with this Son of Kong, and I'm really looking forward to rewatching this. It's a shame I couldn't get it on Blu-ray, but hey, the DVD will suffice for now. I know the Blu-ray's not necessarily cheap. It's like $20, I'd say, on Amazon and eBay. One of these days I'll track it down, but I'm happy to have this added to the Kong collection. The only In Kong movie that I need at this point is King Kong Lives, the sequel to the 76 King Kong, which is so expensive. And the movie is supposed to be shit anyway. I've never seen it, but I want to see it and I want to complete my Kong collection. Somebody release that on Blu-ray. What are you doing? Anyway, that is The Son of Kong. Next up is a nature documentary entitled Genesis. I'm assuming it delves into where we come from, the beginning of life on this planet. This is actually by the French directors who brought us one of the most incredible nature documentaries I've seen to this day. It's up there with the Planet Earth stuff. It deals with smaller worlds, smaller creatures, insects, snails, and their world, and it's called Microcosmos. It is breathtaking. The slow motion sequences, the cameras that they use were groundbreaking for the time. Guys, if you haven't seen Microcosmos and you like things like Planet Earth, please check that film out. It is out there on Blu-ray. I don't even own it on DVD. I've only ever seen it online, streaming, things like that, but it's incredible. I'm assuming this is going to blow my mind and make me cry like a baby, just like Microcosmos always does. That is Genesis. Alright, now it actually looks like mostly Blu-rays, and I have a surprise coming up, so stay to the end of this video. We have, released by AGFA, American Genre Film Archive, and Something Weird in collaboration, The Godmonster of Indian Flats. Man, this is a this is a campy motherfucker of a film, and God, do I love it. It is excellent. The creature in this is a giant, weird sheep mutation monster. Godmonster, I guess. This thing goes around blowing up everything in sight and killing crooked politicians and just wreaking havoc. And it is glorious. Some of these characters are so nonsensical and say things that are so out of their character, if you know what I mean. You'll know what I mean if you've seen the film. But it is just such an odd, quirky, campy film from the late 70s. What is it? Or early 70s. 73. I stand corrected. And this also has The Legend of Bigfoot in color. Ooh. From 1975. New 2K scan from an original 35mm theatrical print, which is incredible. So you get two 2K scans on the same disc here, Blu-ray disc. That is awesome. And I can't wait to check out that one and rewatch Godmonster of Indian Flats on glorious Blu-ray with this 2K restoration. I love that this film even exists on this format. I sold off my DVD to fund this. Only had to pay a few bucks, I think $5 or $6, to get this brand new. Can't wait to crack this open. Gotta love that glorious cover art too. Oh, hell yeah. Godmonster of Indian Flats. Next up, another DVD of mine I sold off from the Criterion collection finally to fund one of the last of the Criterion horror movies that I've yet to own. That is Carnival of Souls. Now, Carnival of Souls, real quick, I liked this movie when I saw it growing up as a teenager, and liked it a little bit more in my early 20s when I rewatched it. But I think as a 32-year-old, next time I watch this, I'm going to fall in love with it. That's just what I think with where I'm at in my life now as a filmmaker and as a writer and as a film watcher and lover. I think I'm really going to appreciate this on so many other levels. The director, Herc Harvey, made this film with little to no budget, used abandoned amusement parks and abandoned locations to give this film so much atmosphere, and that is one thing that has stuck with me, the atmosphere, the organ-like music, or the organ music that's playing during some of the sequences. Very dreamlike, nightmarish, not much dialogue or exposition. Again, it's like a dream, and I can't wait to sit down and watch this again. It's very short. I love me a good short horror film that just gets right to the point. This film has a twist in it that I'm sure blew people away for the time. It's one that we have seen time and time again. I'm not going to mention in what, just in case you haven't seen this movie, but I can imagine for 1962 that it threw people off and threw people for a loop. So can't wait to sit down and watch this again. Carnival of Souls. Next up, got all these crazy horror movies and such, and then Oliver and Company. I sold off two of my DVDs, two different versions of my DVD from Disney, and funded this, which was like $6.99 brand new shipped on eBay. So you can't go wrong with that. This is a film I loved growing up. Haven't seen it since I was a kid, but it's obviously based on Oliver Twist, and it features a bunch of dogs doing dance numbers and running around the city. It's a great adventure. I liked it as a kid. I'm hoping I enjoy it as an adult. Oliver and Company. I ordered a lot of 3 movies, the next 3 movies you're going to see here, on eBay, basically for one of the movies that I wanted, and I was going to sell off the other 2, but I don't know, they seem kind of interesting to me. Now bear with me because I'm kind of learning as I go here, but Flesh for the Beast Media Mix. This has Flesh for the Beast on DVD, on Blu-ray, and then Flesh for the Beast Late Fee, which I think is a short film sequel, or at least a sequel, and also an audio CD by Buckethead, who I guess did the music for Flesh for the Beast. I don't know much about these films. Have you guys seen these movies? Are they any good? Are they worth checking out? I'm going to keep this in the collection and at least give it a whirl and see what this is all about. I don't even know what year these are from. It seems like they're from '03, or at least the initial one was from '03. Just a weird collection, isn't it? With a CD, DVD, Blu-ray, and 2 films that I've never even heard of in the horror genre from a time that I was watching a lot of horror when I was like 15 years old in high school. So very weird, but yeah, Flesh for the Beast Media Mix. Kind of cool. Then the next film that I got in this 3-movie lot, again, this is not the one I ordered the lot for, Plague Town. This one's directed by David Gregory. I don't know him. Plague Town on Blu-ray. I've never heard of this, never seen it. Again, have you guys seen this one? Is it worth keeping in the collection and checking out? It's a horror flick. I at least got to give it a whirl, right, before giving it off to the bookstore or whatever. That is Plague Town. I wish I could talk more about it. No Stugats about it. And finally, the film that I did buy the lot for, the final Frank Henenlotter film that I had yet to own, Bad Biology. I talked about this movie in depth in my Frank Henenlotter retrospective that I put out a couple weeks ago as of recording this video. This is the last feature film that we got from Frank Henenlotter, save for Chasing Banksy, which I still cannot find anywhere on the internet or physically, which is a shame, but it's not really exploitation. I think it's more of a drama comedy, like a dramedy. But this was the last time we'd see Frank Henenlotter in full exploitation glory. Follows a young girl and a young guy who have sexual abnormalities, I will say, and they end up meeting up, and madness ensues. Talked about it, again, in depth in the Frank Henenlotter video. So if that sounds interesting to you, go check that video out. That is Bad Biology, unrated, uncut, Blu-ray and DVD. I now own all Frank Henenlotter's films on Blu-ray and DVD that are available on Blu-ray and DVD, at least in terms of feature films. Bad Biology. Alright, so I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in videos, but 4K Ultra HD is appealing to me, but, you know, up until this point I wasn't able to really find them cheap, and I don't have a 4K player. I have a 4K TV, but not a 4K player. That's going to change at the end of the year, hopefully, if I have enough money to buy the PS5, which I plan to have enough money for, even if I've got to sell a bunch of shit. Gotta have the PS5. I gotta have it day one. That's how I've been since the 90s with consoles. But I've finally done it, folks. A gentleman, one of my audience actually, what's up, man, brought in a bunch of 4K Ultra HD DVDs, or Blu-rays, whatever they're called, Ultra HD discs, and our store is going to be selling them at $6 a piece, which means I get them at $3 a piece. Now, I sold off my Blu-rays for all of the films, except for the first one I'm going to show off here, because I didn't own it on Blu-ray. But all the other films sold off my Blu-rays, and basically paid for the 4K Ultra HDs. That is a no-brainer. So when the time comes, I'll be able to check out what all the hype and hubbub is about these 4K Ultra HD movies. I would love to know what you guys think of 4K Ultra HD. Is it worth it? I'm not a quality snob. Obviously, I have VHS and DVDs that look like shit. I enjoy them looking like shit sometimes. It adds to it. Is it worth it? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about the 4K Ultra format. Anyway, I've completed my Godzilla collection. If you follow me on Instagram at TheBoredCyborg, you probably saw my glorious picture of all of my Godzilla films on Blu-ray. This I now have on 4K Ultra. And by the way, all of these 4K Ultra HD things have Blu-rays in them, hence why I picked them up, so that just in case I want to watch them, I could still watch them. Godzilla King of the Monsters. I saw this in theaters last year. Blew me away. This is Godzilla, man. I am not a fan of Godzilla 2014. I enjoy it to an extent, but there's not enough Godzilla, too many humans we don't fucking care about, and Bryan Cranston being killed off in the first 20 minutes still pisses me off to this day, because we actually cared about him. I don't care about Kick-Ass, and I don't care about any of the other characters that are just there to do something. I don't even know what. I want more monster fights, god damn it. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, brings the monster fights in abundance. We get Ghidorah, Mothra, Gojira. All of these monsters are back in a monster mash with a whole bunch of new kaiju that are incredible designs, great to look at. I hope we see more of in the future. This is leading up to the big Legendary Pictures release of King Kong vs. Godzilla in 2021. I'm hoping we get it in 2021. I think it was originally slated for this year, but pretty sure it's coming out next year at this point. Can't wait for that. But Godzilla King of the Monsters blew me away. Actually interesting human characters and some interesting politics. And amazing special effects and monster fights. So good. A true Godzilla film through and through. Michael Dougherty knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. This is a solid 4 out of 5. I loved this movie. Did a whole review on this movie, so feel free to check out my opinions then. They haven't changed much. I'm looking forward to rewatching this, getting some new perspective on the film that now that I've watched more Godzilla. Can't wait to check this out again, but it is one of my first 4K Ultra DVDs. I don't even know what to call them. I'm an idiot. 4K Ultra discs. That is King Kong, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Next up, not going to go too in-depth with these movies because, they're all movies I enjoy, but X-Men Days of Future Past, upgraded to Ultra HD. I enjoy this movie. I enjoy the animated show's 5-part series a little bit more than this, but I still really enjoy this. I think it's one of the best X-Men movies out there, dealing with time travel, and a lot of great characters that we know and love. Really cool movie. X-Men Days of Future Past. Next up, same thing here, Deadpool. Love this movie. I really enjoyed this. I saw the sequel in theaters. I saw this at home when it came out. Knew nothing of the character of Deadpool. After watching this, I feel like I do understand what he's all about, and fans say that he's very true to his comic book roots. Ryan Reynolds seems like this was the role he was born to play. I love the fourth wall breaking, love the by the second humor, the gruesome violence, how offensive it is, and how it goes places that most comic book movies don't. I appreciate it for that. I really enjoy Deadpool. Another one on 4K Ultra. Next up, The Martian Extended Edition. I've actually not seen the Ridley's Extended Edition. I like this movie. Looks beautiful, great to look at, solid story, solid performances. It's too long, though. It's a bit slowly paced at points. I like some of the science that goes on in this movie with Matt Damon's character. I like the Robinson Crusoe aspects of this movie. But it didn't really grab me and keep me too interested throughout. I was a little bored at points. It's a 3 out of 5, though. Technically, this movie excels. It looks wonderful. Ridley Scott doesn't shoot an ugly movie. Everybody here watching this knows that. So, The Martian Extended Edition. I'm looking forward to rewatching this someday in a few years or so. Next up are some heavy hitters and some of my favorite films, some of the best films of all time. First one up, Halloween. Not my favorite Halloween movie, but definitely my second favorite Halloween movie. Season of the Witch, as you guys know, is my favorite. I'll talk about that in depth one day. But Halloween, John Carpenter, 1978. Can you go wrong? I like the weird die cut or whatever, cut slip cover. It's kind of cool. But this came into the store with the same lot. Sold off my... Actually, no, I didn't sell off my Blu-ray because it's a Digibook. So I own this in 3 formats now. Digibook, Blu-ray, in the Halloween Scream Factory collection, and now on 4K. I wonder how 4K is going to treat a film like this that was shot with a low budget on film. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want these films to look too clean. Again, any insight would help here. Please let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about older, grittier films in 4K. If it works for you, I'd love to know, because I'm curious. I'm just curious. Halloween, classic, can't go wrong. One of the best horror flicks ever made, one of the most influential, no doubt about it. Next up, one of my favorite films of all time, top 10. Some days top 12, things move around all the time, but always close to my heart, man. Goodfellas is quintessential mob movie making. Love it, love the characters, love the way it looks, love how dark and dismal it is, but thrown in with levity and human moments. I love Goodfellas. Can't wait to check it out when I get an Ultra HD player in even better quality. I hope it pays off, man. I hope it pays off. And if it doesn't, these all still have the Blu-ray, like I mentioned. So I'm really not losing anything. And I made my money back, if even a little bit more, selling off all these Blu-rays. Lastly, Leon the Professional, which I grew up calling The Professional, honestly. But I guess Leon the Professional is sort of the title now. Love this movie to death. Haven't seen it in years. Jean Reno, of course, Luc Besson. Adored this film growing up. It was one of my favorites growing up during my teenage years when I was becoming more mature and more of an adult. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I knew I'd love these movies. This action-packed, but filled with human poignancy and moments that just tear at your heartstrings. I wonder how this holds up. I'm looking forward to checking this out. Jean Reno, of course, Natalie Portman, Gary Oldman as the villain. One of the best endings to an action flick from the 90s. One that stuck with me all through the years. I love the characters in this. Love Leon the Professional. I just want to thank you all for checking out my What's in the Bag episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'd love to know what you guys have picked up over the last couple weeks, so feel free to leave that down in the comments below, and we'll get a little discussion. Rolling, 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 yeah! If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell for notifications. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next time. BoredCyborg out. Yep, got nothing.